How we doing, everybody? This is That Our Nerd back at it again with another algebra tutorial. This one today covers exponents, which is something I really happen to like. Exponents are kind of neat, kind of cool, and we're going to cover some of the rules that go along with exponents. So if we wanted to know just the definition, like what does a to the fourth mean? Well, a to the fourth just means you're multiplying a by itself 4 times, right? So we have a times a times a times a. So that is what a to the fourth means. So our first rule for exponents is called the product rule. And so what this is saying is if you took two variables with the same base, so I guess just some terminology, right? This bottom part is called the base, and this is the exponent. So if you have the same base, but different exponents, and you're trying to multiply them together, so I don't know, let's just do x cubed times x to the fourth. I don't know, just some random numbers I picked here. But what this means is we're taking x multiplied by itself 3 times, right? So we're taking x times x times x times x, right? Because now we're going to the fourth, I guess. So x multiplied by itself 3 times is this first part. And then we have x multiplied by itself 4 times for the second part. So now we have x times x times x right here. And the second part is x times x times x times x. So now we're multiplying x by itself 7 times. Right, so this is going to give us x to the 7th. And now you don't necessarily need to write this whole thing out every time, right? They have a shortcut for it, and this is what they call the product rule for exponents. And what this says is that if you have x to the n, we'll just use a variable here instead of a number so that we can make it generic, right? And then times x to the m, what you're going to get is x raised to the n plus m. So for this problem up here, all we had to do was see that we had the same base, and then we just had to add the exponents together. So 3 plus 4 gives us 7. So you keep the base the same, and your power is going to be your 2 powers added together. So I guess the sum of your 2 exponents. So that one's called the product rule. Our next one is, what if we had x cubed, that is a terrible cube here, x cubed, and we took this thing to the fourth. Well, this would be another exponent rule here, and this happens when you take a power to a power. And so what does this mean? Well, we're taking x cubed, and we're multiplying that by itself 4 times. So we're going to have x cubed times x cubed times x cubed times x cubed. Right? So we're taking x cubed to the 4th power. We could write this out: x times 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 x. Right? We could write all these out, or we could just use our addition rule that we found up here. So if we have the same base, which we do, right? We have x for the base of all these. What we can do is just add our exponents together. So 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12. So this is going to be equal to x to the 12th. Again, there's another shortcut here, right? We don't need to write out this x cubed times x cubed times x cubed times x cubed every time. What we could do is if we have x to the n, we take that to the mth power, what we do is we just multiply our exponents together. We keep our base and we multiply our exponents. So what this is going to be is x to the n times m. So for this one up here, we could have simply taken 3 times 4, and now we have x to the 4th power, or x to the 12th power after we do that. Boom! So that's rule number 2. Aren't these a little fun? Aren't you having just a little bit of fun right now? It's like, for me, I've never had so much fun in my whole life. So, yeah. Okay. This rule applies the same if we had x to to the n, and we'll say y to the m. We take this to the p. This is going to be the same thing as x to the np times y to the mp. So really, you're just kind of distributing, I guess you could say, this p to both of these. So we do n times p and m times p. So this comes from this row up here. This is just when we have more than one base in here. So if we had x to the 4th, y cubed, and we took that squared, what we would do is we take 8 to the 4 times 2, right? 4 times 2, so that'd be x to the 8th. Then we have y cubed, so we take 3 times 2, which is 6. So then we'd have y to the 6. So that's how you would distribute that power out through those. Boom! Crushing these rules here. Just crushing them. So now we have a division rule. And so let's say we had x to the 4th divided by x squared. And so what this means is we're taking x times x times x times x on the top, dividing by x times x. And if you remember, anything divided by itself is equal to 1, right? So we have x divided by x, which is 1. So those will kind of cancel out and turn into 1s. We have x divided by x, which gives us 1. And so what's going to be left is x times x, which is x squared. And so again, our fancy rule for this one is if we have x to the m divided by x to the n, what do you think we can do? Do you notice what we did this time? Yeah, we subtracted these exponents, right? It's very important when you do this that you do the top exponent subtract the bottom exponent, not the other way around. So this is going to be x to the m minus n. So you take your top exponent, subtract your bottom exponent. We'll do one more little rule here, and that'll be it for this video. But what if we had a negative exponent? So let's say that we had, I don't know. Let's go the other way around. So let's say we had x squared divided by x to the 4th. Well, if we used our exponent rule, 2 minus 4, right? So we do x to the 2 minus 4. And 2 minus 4 would give us negative 2. But if we really looked, we'd see that this top part is x times x. This bottom part is x times x times x times x. Right, so again, this will cancel out, right? X divided by x is 1, x divided by x is 1. But this time we'll have 1 divided by x squared. So we can see if we have a negative exponent, what we can do is simply put it in our denominator and then have a 1 or whatever's left over on top. So in this case, there's really just a 1 left over. So it would be 1 divided by x squared. So our little rule for this one is if we have x to the negative n, that would be the same thing as doing 1 divided by x to the n. Also, if you have a negative exponent in the denominator, so 1 divided by x to the negative n, this would be the same thing as we flip it to the numerator, right, and we make our exponent positive. So this would be the same thing as x to the n. So hopefully you found these rules of some help. I'm going to do some practice problems, maybe a little more difficult ones, so that you can see and watch and follow along with that. So make sure to go to the next video in this playlist here. And if you had an enjoyable time right here, just mathing it up, make sure to press that like button down there. Helps other people find this video, and it's very awesome. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy and cuddly inside, so make sure to do that. Also subscribe if you'd like to see more videos similar to this one, and have a great day. If you've made it this far, okay, you're awesome. So stay fancy and have a great day. And I hope this was of help to you.